Ladies and gentlemen, several million people across America are still saying they will remain out of the workforce indefinitely. And economists are saying potentially this is going to exacerbate the labor shortage for years to come. So they're saying they don't plan to return to the workforce. And they said, even dining out, and they're seeing less people shopping and all of these things that are going on. Remember, the pandemic is still going on, that didn't go anywhere. So, according to a monthly survey that was done over the past year by a team of researchers, the workforce dropout tends to be women, a lack of a college degree, and have worked in low paying jobs. The research team has named the phenomena long social distancing. So, and they said this is going to be one of those lasting scars that will occur in America. Our evidence is the labor force isn't going to magically bounce back. This is according to Nicholas Bloom of Stanford University, an economist who oversees the survey along with Jose Maria Barrero. All right. So they are saying we don't see any changes in the long social distancing numbers, which suggests that this dropout in labor force participation may be quite enduring. The researchers predict it turns out to be true. So they're saying that the labor force will be depressed for potentially years after the pandemic recedes. And the implications for the world's largest economy and the Federal Reserve are substantial. A sharp drop in labor force during the pandemic led to shortages of workers and products that have frustrated households, restrained economy growth, and helped push inflation to a 40-year high. So they said they saw some recovery in March, and that's not enough to make up for the last 2 years. So they're saying about 22 million people, they left work, they left the workforce, and the labor force consists of by the employed workers and job seekers age 16 and older fell by 8.2%. The ranks of employed workers, as well as the March, where 1.2 million shy of the pre pandemic level, recovering faster than economists have predicted. But they're saying even though there are gains, the U.S. is still missing about 3.5 million workers by the team's calculation. And that figure represents the difference between the number of workers in March and how many there would be if the labor force had continued to grow at the pace it did in 2015 to 2019. And their research suggests progress could soon stall. If so, the labor force will remain depressed for longer than the Fed anticipates, potentially helping to keep inflation high. So, I don't see this going away anytime soon. So, one retired person said, they worried about getting sick, so they retired early to avoid almost all of the activities such as going out to eat, socializing, and they plan to continue to do so in the foreseeable future. So they're not going back in the workplace. All right, and they're saying there's a Facebook group for people in this same condition, people that refuse to go back out and work and go back in the labor force. They have groups out there on Facebook regarding this. Wow, okay. One recent member posted a picture of a zebra, an animal that people have adopted as sort of a mascot, sitting in a car looking out the window. The world is moving on. We're not able to yet. The fate of people in the heart of one of the economy's biggest puzzles, whether certain adults will re enter the labor force. Employers have struggled to find workers to meet strong consumer demands and had bid up worker wages as a result. One of several factors that pushed inflation to a 40-year high in March. For each month over the past year, the team has anonymously surveyed 5,000 people, not always the same ones, aged 20 to 64, who earned at least $10,000 in a prior year. The survey was asking whether they plan a full or partial return or no return to normal activities. Consistently, 1 in 10 have said they plan no return. In the early months of this year, um, you know, it the unemployment, I think it just kind of flatlined, you know. But remember, once you're off of unemployment, you're not counted anymore. So the numbers are really always fake. All right. So after controlling for work status, some of those people were working remotely, and other variables, such as age and gender. The team concluded that roughly 3 million people are staying out of the workforce to remain socially distant. The team did not ask health details, such as whether the people um, are trying to avoid health privacy concerns. Other data suggests that, people still have a lot of fears in being in the workplace. The Census Bureau has surveyed adults throughout the US, asking among the questions whether they didn't in the past, whether they worked in the past week because they were afraid to be back in the workplace. The figure peaked at above 6 million early in the pandemic. It fell sharply a year ago after, things were going on between mid March, and the figures fell to 2.3 million from 3 million in February. But the great resignation is still going strong in the US, and I noticed they don't talk about that as much. Before, they were talking about the great resignation, and that has not gone anywhere. It's still going on. The Feds is counting on further pickup in labor force participation as it attempts to bring inflation back down to its 2% target over the next 2 years without extremely aggressive rate increases. The hope is that a larger labor pool will alleviate the pressure on employers to raise wages at a pace that the Fed considers unhealthy in the long run. The number of people looking for work has been slow to respond to the strong demand for workers for a reason that appear clearly related to the great resignation. So even they're admitting that people rebounding and the economy rebounding and everybody going back to work is going at a very slow pace. So, ladies and gentlemen, what do y'all think? I mean, this thing has not gone away. It's still happening, despite reports of, oh, is an uptick in the economy. No, there's an uptick in inflation, not the economy. I think these folks are very confused. But y'all, please tell me what you think about this story. Please leave your comment and subscribe. Don't forget to hit on the notification bell, and I'll see you on the next video. Peace, family.